Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Keep That Same Energy podcast, the Compton edition, where we discuss current events, politics, religion, and all things that matter to African Americans in our community. That being said, please allow us to entertain you today. Welcome everybody, the world. This is the second episode of the Keep That Same Energy podcast. With myself, James Taboo Jones, and Jamel McMizzle Jones.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We got our resident visitor, Keith Dubb from the Club. Burn rubber on your mama ass, Wilson.
Keep That Same Energy podcast coming soon.
And yes, he is a resident founding member of the Keep That. No, I'm sorry, not to Keep That Same Energy, but we will be forming the. Not front office material, NFOM podcast. So that will be coming soon with Keith Wilson.
Yes,
Dubb from the Club. Burn rubber on your mama.
Yeah. Willie on your forehead.
All right. So episode 2.
Yeah, let's get right into it, James.
We're going to continue. We touched a little bit on coronavirus and how it's affecting people in our communities in California, the United States.
Worldwide, actually.
Worldwide. To date, the World Health Organization says there's been 125,000 cases worldwide.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the map right here, and it's showing from the tip of, Italy or above Africa, all the way back to Asia, all the way back, back around to North America, where it's, like you said, all those cases out here in the United States, as well as South America. Africa has the lowest cases. I see dots. I see maybe 20 dots along the continent in South Africa. That's where them rich white people is. So,
Well, you gotta think about it. How is this stuff transmitted? It's transmitted through the planes, right? So
absolutely.
It was isolated to Wuhan, China, which is a rural area in China. What they call the Wuhan wet market, which is dangerous anyway. You got seafood, and them motherfuckers ain't properly keeping that shit cold. It's just fish out in the market. And when we say markets, we think of like Ralph's and Food for Less. Or if you got some money, Whole Foods, right?
Yeah, they markets is open. It's flies. It's
that shit like the Rhodium.
It's just free for all. If
with
you ain't
fish.
Put it on ice. If you ain't cooking it right away, it might be contaminated.
I'm saying, you remember the old swap meets when you go get the TI sweatsuits where people used to just, the real swap meet outside.
Yeah.
And you get there early in the morning and shit. It's really a drive-in. But during the daytime, they getting that money out that motherfucker making the swap meet. Right. So it's something like that, but you got fish and seafood, the bacteria set in. So, anything could have happened, but they said it was from bats. So how the fuck you get bats with fish? That's
right. And update as of March 14th, 3 o'clock Eastern time. It was in California. It was 247 cases confirmed, 5 fatal, 6 recovered. U.S. cases
240 in California. That's a lot.
Yeah. And U.S. cases says that it was 2,628 cases confirmed. 50 fatal, 41 recovered, and global cases, that's what you was talking about, the 155,000, 210,000
It's up
cases.
to 155? Damn.
And
that's a lot of
It's
that.
5,800 fatal globally.
So
I'll say this real quick, though. Been more deaths by police than last year in California than the rest of coronavirus.
Absolutely.
We buying toilet paper and scared and shit. You need to go buy a bulletproof vest and stay out of the police face.
Yeah, or put your hands out the window when you get pulled over.
So you said something about, people running to get this toilet paper. It's been real hysteria over some motherfucking water and toilet paper and hand sanitizer.
Like, what the fuck?
So
you know how to control the masses? Fear.
Yeah.
If you in a public setting, there's a lot of people and a shooting go on. Everybody gets scared and they run for their life because they fear for it, right?
Right.
Well, the media is actually shooting at you right now with the information on the coronavirus. I read an article the other day, or seen the news podcast the other day, where one station said 24 confirmed cases in California and 2 deaths. The next news station said we got 26 new cases of individuals who got off a boat in Northern California. So if you take 24 and 2, that makes 26. So in actuality, there were no new cases. It was just 26 people got off a boat and they came to California, or they landed, or they got off a boat in California. Now those are 26 cases in California.
Do you think
it's how they say it to you and how you listen, which is gonna have you scared. So if you're scared, look, they shut down the government in 2 days. They shut down basketball. All the sports got shut down in 2 days. You know, they talking about quarantining, keep you at home.
in the schools?
And then they tell you to go out and get a flu shot. Now, if it was worth something, you'd have to pay for it. They give it to you free. Think about it.
Well, I knew it was serious when the NBA decided to shut it down. When the 2 NBA players came back that they were they actually had the virus. It got serious then, right?
It wasn't serious. It was just somebody know. That's the difference. If somebody know. I mean, do you guys do anybody know somebody who got the virus?
I don't know.
No, but what I'm saying is that was the domino that started the roll with these dominoes. The NBA shut down, NCAA shut down, and then different government agencies and governors start declaring emergencies, all within a 24-hour period, right? So if you watch the news, and it's not even a day-to-day thing anymore, it's not even an hour-to-hour thing. This shit is minute-to-minute if you keeping up with it on various streams of information, whether it be through cable, internet news, or whatever the case may be. This shit is, they, like you say, they feeding it to us on an endless, this is an unlimited stream of information about some shit that's going to ultimately have you hysterical. Maybe.
Jeffrey Epstein case.
So China mainland, is that where that little town you was talking about?
Wuhan.
Right.
Wuhan
is
it's 80,000 confirmed cases alone just there.
Right.
Well, so also one of the animals, there's an animal called a pangolin. Pangolin's natural defense is coronavirus. In China, specifically in Wuhan, China, the meat is a delicacy, and the scales on the animal are used for medicine. Highly profitable product.
Okay.
And so, these people were eating this meat, and
what was the?
It's called pangolin, Paglin, or LON, something like that, but a pangolin. It looks like an anteater basically, and these people were eating these things, left and right. So the flu has killed more people faster than the coronavirus, but because the media is portraying it and pushing it as so, this is what you hear, this is what you hear. There is no comparison to the outbreak of the coronavirus to how many people died of influenza.
So you're saying there's no reason to even worry about this at all?
No, I'm not saying don't worry about it. What I'm saying is it's fear mongering going on right now. And so what they're doing is
it's scare tactics.
It's scare tactics, basically. They're pushing it
right.
and giving it more than we're supposed to. And if you get enough people rolling with that fear, the fear is going to roll, and then everything's going to change based off of fear. But like I said, once again, as a regular person, look around your neighborhood, look at your neighbors, look at your school, look at your work, look at your job, and tell me how many people you know that were affected.
You are absolutely right.
And this goes back to, go ahead, I'm sorry, I didn't want to.
I was going more or less looking at some research right now and looking at this pangolin, which is a meat in Africa, right? And it's like you said, the Chinese consider this a delicacy. So with that being said, is it no different than the pufferfish that could kill you?
Yeah, but who's out there grabbing pufferfish and eating like that? You know what I'm saying? It's a delicacy.
Japanese.
Because I know
Japanese.
I see the documentary where they was going into the wild and capturing these, right? And they was babies and they rolled up, and then they had this other organization that was trying to save them.
Right.
You know what I mean? So this is I seen this probably 2 years ago.
Yeah, but we talking about a virus and how it responds in an animal, which is totally different how it responds in a human being.
Right, but so once again, it's let's say that it's a deadly virus. It's affecting those who have underlying symptoms and issues. It's a virus that can be carried by a healthy person, and they would never know that they have the virus, and they could pass it on to somebody who's unhealthy. So that is the fear that you could pass on to somebody who's unhealthy if you live with somebody who has a autoimmune deficiency issue or something like that. But outside of that, you know, the average person is not going to be affected by this particular situation. So, you know, like I said, a lot of things that they're pushing, the way that people are going out and emptying the stores out, the stock market is dying. You know, I wouldn't be surprised, and don't call me a conspiracy theorist, but I wouldn't be surprised if in 4 or 5 years you got the federal government going after the administration about fraud in this case, and dealing with the coronavirus and the shutdown and how quick your securities and stuff, all that, and the trading, everything getting shut down, the Dow is losing money left and right. Well, you know, somebody's buying this stuff right now while it's going down. So those are people that's going to be rich.
Well, it ain't us. It's the 1%ers that can afford to do the shit in the first place. They finna do a sweep. Right.
Can I add to that 2 points? The fact that taxes just rolled in. A lot of these people got taxes, so they got readily available money, right? But it ain't doing it but going back to the government to stimulate the economy. Not in a way to where it benefits the
they spending it on fucking toilet paper and water.
You can't stimulate the economy if you take half the people out of work.
What the fuck are they getting all this toilet paper for, bro?
I got a big question.
What is the toilet paper gonna do?
What is the toilet paper for?
I'm fucking clueless.
You gotta run your ass. I can't help you.
I'm just saying though, the average motherfucker asshole ain't no bigger than a Cheerio. What you need all that paper for? As a father in a house with a wife and 2 daughters at one point, I still don't understand why motherfucker use all that toilet paper.
Well, like I said, if you have when you have fear, you gotta set demand, and you gotta have supplies. You know, right now I see why the demand's why, because if you go to the docks, they're not letting no boats in. Everything is made in China. They're not letting nothing in.
I mean, but when you give a country that fucking
that shit ain't gonna last long. 30 days.
Much fucking power. What? Nothing is made in America no more. I'm talking about from the motherfucking
Bayer aspirin is made in China.
You know what I'm saying? And
all of the major medications,
all our shit, we fucked up
are pressed in China. A couple of the presidents
when we start giving them power.
We are beholden to China.
What it is called the American dream. The American dream is to come to America, build your business. When you build a business, you're in the business to make money. How do you make money? By using the cheapest resources possible so you can make the most margins.
Absolutely.
And you took all the manufacturing away from America and put it out somewhere else. You know who's laughing right now talking about how to take your business? Mexico. Mexico, like, come on, I manufacture anything you want right now.
From cars to whatever.
Whatever you need, I got it down here.
So the president spoke yesterday morning.
About the coronavirus.
Right? And what do you think about his play on this? Because I talked to a couple people, and I actually thought this was actually a good move with him. It's an election year, right? Bloomberg has dropped out of the race. The only motherfucker that could have spent dollar for dollar with him, right? Because he only won fucking.
But know what you
Samoa.
He's the only one who can spend dollar for dollar with him. So
but he's the only one now. In addition to the only one that could spend dollar for dollar with him, he's the only one that had a plan for black people, right? Even though he was Mr. Stop and Frisk man.
Fucking plan for black people.
Hear me out though. Hear me out. Even though he was Mr. Stop and Frisk man, right? He knew he fucked up. So what he did is he got his people on board, and they developed plans as a businessman. If you look at Michael Bloomberg's plan for black people, his plan was to help us in small business, stimulate small business, infuse money into businesses that traditionally cannot go get a business loan, a small business loan, a startup loan, right? Money for materials, money for equipment, right? That was his plan for black people. We're gonna find a way for you people to get your business in line, right? And once we give you the loans and we finance and we make sure some of these people in place can function as a business, if y'all fail after this, it's on you. I respect that, right? Motherfucking Bernie Sanders is somebody's granddad. That motherfucker gonna die in office if he win. He got some good radical ideas, but the reality is he's shaky Jacob.
And is this the same Bloomberg that own Bloomberg.com.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I have a problem with that. I mean, you know, it can look to a certain degree because he has control over his media outlet.
We got a problem with all of them.
It's not that. Look, I'm gonna say it like this, and anybody who's alive who is in the same tax bracket or area or understanding that I'm talking about can realize this. Someone who is in a higher tax bracket as you does not think about you. Period. You are a consumer. You are a source of money. That's what you are to them. They don't want you to be the same as them. They don't want to be at the same country clubs as you. So they're not going to give you an avenue to make that happen. Bloomberg came out in every post he put up, or every commercial or ad I ever heard about him. He was talking about doing something for black people. Well, America is made up of a whole lot more people than black people, and there's a whole lot more non-black people who don't like black people, who are not going to help black people. So, you know, I understand.
Yeah,
some
their
people
objective
come
is
back
not for
and say, hey, you know what? He was trying to help black people, but at the same time, he was trying to get to a better place in his life.
As
and
he
was
should.
using marketing
As
to make
he-
that happen.
as he
So
should.
How
Now-
do you get that? You want to get the black vote. Because right now, the black vote
But
is one of
the strongest-
but let's just look at it and hit it on a what if right now. Yeah, it was marketing, right? He's supposed to. He spent damn near $700 million. $700 million. I think it was $670 million.
Why he just didn't loan that to black people?
Right, but hold on. This is a write-off because he making good money. You talking about a billionaire.
Right, so you call it a write-off.
You talking a
If you
billionaire.
want to help me.
Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out, though.
Programs.
We know Biden ain't gonna do shit. Biden is a puppet, bro. Biden is a puppet. He is a motherfucking puppet. If Biden don't adopt Bloomberg's plan, Biden can't get my vote neither. It's quid pro quo, homie.
Biden can get my vote if he don't push the Obama agenda, which I wouldn't agree with.
I don't. I think Biden is very weak. I think he is a puppet. You can look at that motherfucker. He looks scary.
It's always one weak politician in the race.
Right. Bernie can't beat Trump. Right. So they trying to just get somebody that's gonna beat Trump. But Biden is a clown. Biden is a puppet. Right. And like I said, for me personally, as a black business owner that would like to get into the pot, because fuck all that bullshit. If some of us benefit from policies that are put in place by Bloomberg or that are influenced by Bloomberg, then why not roll with this dude?
I'll give you the example why. What was Trump's number one call in his previous campaign to become president? What was the main thing he said he was going to do?
Build a wall.
Is the wall built?
Nope.
Did Mexico pay for it? Did he take the money from the American people?
Yep.
That's what he did. So what I'm saying is he advertised one thing, but when he got in the office, he had to do what the office dictated.
Once
so
again,
it doesn't matter
once-
what Bloomberg
once-
advertises.
once-
Is once he get in the office, will they allow him to do the things that he's saying that he wants to do?
And so Biden looks like a better solution for you?
No, I didn't say Biden looked like their solution. I don't like none of them. None of them are in my tax bracket. None of them can relate to what I go through day to day. None of them know my day-to-day struggle.
I
none of
get
them, none
that.
of them live check to check.
But
so
Biden-
therefore, they can't think for me.
But Bloomberg is the only one that has even said anything to acknowledge the fact that black people on this fucking planet. We ain't
Bloomberg
heard
is
shit.
advertising. He's advertising. That's what I see it as. It's like a Nike commercial.
Yeah, and then the reason why I say the reason why I have my issue with Bloomberg is because he was the main motherfucker that was running New York.
His actions speak louder than his
So
marketing.
you know the New Yorkers, the African Americans and the New Yorkers in New York has dealt with his shit for years.
Right. But
Okay, he could hide behind the 9/11 shit, but that don't mean nothing. That was somebody else's doing, right?
Okay.
But back to President Trump.
I still think.
Did he test positive for the coronavirus?
I don't know, but he
He
been.
showed the hug and then shaking hands with him.
Yeah.
I mean, because they said if you like this close, you know what I'm saying, you can get it. It's a possibility.
so he
But it
touched-
say
he
it
touched-
travels-
he
if
touched it.
sneeze, it'll travel 10 feet. If it that's airborne. If it lands on a metal surface, it'll live for 12 hours.
on
If
a
it
cardboard
lands-
box, 3 days.
If it lands on your material, your clothing material, it can live for 12 hours. So the key is, on your hands, it'll live 12 to 15 minutes on your hands. So they say wash your hands. They say, but in 12 to 15 minutes, a lot can happen. You can rub your eyes, you can put your hands in your mouth, bite your fingernails.
Touch any open orifice on your body.
You touch, that you touch in that period of time can be affected. So, it's back to washing your hands and whatnot. But like I said, it's just like any other sickness or illness. If somebody got the flu in your household,
but you should be washing your hands.
Touching everything.
We should be
washing your hands.
We should be washing our hands anyway.
Absolutely. But what about that basketball player that was fucking playing by the mic and shit, and then the next day he catch it? I mean, is that ironic?
Okay, so here we go again. This is me. I grew up. I'm a 70s baby. So I was a teenager in the late 80s, 90s. Magic Johnson came out with AIDS, or said he had
92?
AIDS, back in the days when AIDS was a big epidemic and it was out there scaring everybody.
Right.
I personally believe Magic never had AIDS because his wife never got it. He's still running around. He don't got it today. I'm thinking that Magic was took a business decision back then to say that, because look where he's propelled himself to today
he's a conglomerate.
in Los Angeles County or California as a business person. Look
He's a
what he's
conglomerate.
doing, all the avenues he's been able to get into. And I don't think that would have happened if he not did that. And then once again, like I said, the black community at the time was under the belief that black people couldn't get AIDS. Only a gay person can get AIDS, and that's how AIDS transferred through gay people. Mm-hmm. So they had to have somebody who was heterosexual that black people looked up to come out and say something like that.
Because he did lead the NBA quietly. He left quietly. He left.
And so, here we go again. We fast forwarded, and it happens again, 20 years later. I mean, we prepared as a country for nuclear war like a mug, but we didn't prepare for a bio war. You know what I'm saying? This is what we're not prepared for, and that has nothing to do with the average person. That's the government.
Well, I agree with you. I don't believe that I would be in direct target or in range, or even in the vicinity of somebody that might even have it. This has been identified as something that a traveler's disease. People that travel, people that have gone out of the country within the last 30 days, 24 hours, 30, 60 days, or whatever the case may be, travel to infected areas, which is that area is becoming larger, as people, the planes spread this shit, man. Plain and simple. You say what you want to say. Planes spread it. People were isolated in one area. They jump on planes. They travel from here to there. They eat exotic foods. They touching shit in different hotels and on rails and in different cabs. And you giggling and laughing and doing selfies, but you picking up shit that you finna go infect the rest of the world. Not even just your family, but your whole region.
And then we got to factor in that these planes are using recycled air.
I think the air is safe. It's the touch thing, like Dubb just said. It can live. It can live on a cloth seat. It can live on that leather chair, right? If these planes are not clean, the cabins of these planes are not clean properly and sanitized. We're not just saying clean, but we need to sanitize these planes in between each flight.
What they need to do is they need to implement the death penalty for these motherfuckers that's walking around here doing ignorant ass shit, like having a motherfucking mask on their face, licking their fingers and touching the poles in public transportation, or going up to people. There's a lady in Lakewood walking around, older Asian lady in Lakewood, got a mask on. She's walking around to people's doors, licking her fingers and touching their door handle and walking off. That bitch, that's death penalty right there.
Right,
You got it, don't got it, bitch. You playing.
Yeah, that's fine. This is a serious issue. It's 3 cases in Long Beach alone.
You put three Food for Less plastic bags around your hand, and you break that bitch jaw with the plastic so you don't.
But you gotta catch her. The lady, if you saw her, look, the lady she got caught on somebody's ring. Somebody sitting on the ring and they posted it up.
Break that bitch jaw.
You know what I'm saying?
Next time she put her finger in her mouth, it's gonna need to be for food.
Oh, this is from Fox News. They said that the White House announced Tuesday that insurance companies have agreed to waive all co-pays on coronavirus testing and treatment amid the threat of the virus.
So they can turn around and give you the flu shot.
So here's another
Once
thing.
again,
Here's
they're
another
gonna give you
not
health care.
well.
I should have said fake news. I should have said fake news.
Well, but hear this out. This too, because I've heard this. Aetna is covering co-payments, and they're also sponsoring telemedicine, where you can be at your computer and just talk to the doctors, and the doctors get your symptoms and whatnot. Motherfucker don't even have to see you face to face. It's the telemedicine age. So what do you think about that? I mean, because that's a great technology. I was in meetings all day yesterday with the company that I work for. All day we were in meetings trying to make sure how do our mental health staff that are 80% field force, right, in the field, hands-on with homeless, with all kinds of mental health patients, but you in direct contact with people, you don't know where these people at. You don't know who they deal with. Some of them homeless, some of them live in group homes where it's just a gang of people that live in these spaces. So we want to protect our staff, and the best way we can do that is look at software like Zoom. There's another one called Doxy, specifically for the healthcare field, where you can do video conferencing with your clients as long as they have a smartphone.
So, as you know, I'm on the other side of what you do.
Don't they got that
So I'm dealing
Cisco
with
stuff?
that on a regular basis with many different companies. So there are multiple companies, and even my company are finding ways of trying to figure out ways to allow people to work from home to avoid the spread of it. But what about those people who have jobs where they can't work from home? Like a lot of the people that were affected that stayed with the sports closures. These people who worked at these stadiums and these
airports,
places. We're not talking about. We're just talking about like these coliseums where they worked at. These people, concession stands and security. These people can't do their job from home.
Hats off to Mark Cuban, because he's looking and trying to work and be creative and make sure his people get something while they down.
Right.
So hats off to Mark Cuban.
That's an individual.
Yeah, that's one owner.
What I'm going to say to you is, anybody who's growing right now, you got bills every 30 days. Have you ever known the government to give you something for nothing? It's people out there with cancer. It's people out there with AIDS. It's people out there with death ailments. Ailments that consider deadly, and the government is not offering them free anything. So imagine a person who has cancer, who has to deal with the bills that they have every week and every day because of that. You know what I'm saying? So if the government was really trying to help you, they'd be helping you with real life things. This coronavirus came up, a month later they're telling you to give you something else for free. They still pushing this flu shot again and again and again. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little skeptical on anything you want to give me and put in my body for free. Weed growing around, you want to give me that for free, but you want to put something together and manufacture it and hand it to me for free? I got a problem with it.
Now answer me this: Do y'all think that because they, close all the schools and stuff, and in 2 weeks we get some type of pandemonium, panic? You know what I mean? By the 29th of March, you know what I'm saying? It's got 500,000 cases. You know what I mean? Worldwide or something. Where you would think that, you know what I'm saying? Do you think, I know that falls under the mind control and keeping people in the house and, you know what I'm saying, crowd control or whatever they want to call it, the purge, whatever the fuck. But I just think that's just ironic that they close all these schools, and then they know people still got to go to work, still got to feed these kids. A lot of these people don't have daycares. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you talking about poor man issues. You ain't talking about middle America issues. You're not talking about. Yeah, you're not talking about that.
Still do.
We're addressing that because
internet.
I mean, but I think it's an issue. I mean,
it is an issue because
the working man is why the fucking CEO can sit at home.
He don't give a shit. That don't got nothing to do with his bottom line. But you're right. There are a lot of people that just cannot afford to
take off for 2 weeks.
Or self-quarantine for 30 days. What does that mean? I don't have food in my pantry. I don't have a pantry. I got a cabinet with my food in.
How can you stack something up when I'm waiting on my next check? I got to go to work to get it.
I'm just saying I don't have a pantry.
Let's be honest. Honest.
That is true. That is true. So ain't no pantry. I'm far-fetched from pantry.
Listen. These people going crazy over water, right? And I'm sitting here, my wife, she talking about this water. She was raising her voice. Man, about that fucking water? Man, leave me alone. Listen.
I was buying that shit
I grew up in Compton.
3 cases at a time.
To where in the summertime, if you hit that back door too many times, grandma say, okay, you staying in here. Right? Grandma say, you staying in here. I grew up on water hose water.
Yeah.
I'm finna drink the motherfucking water out the hydrant.
Yeah, and put your hands in the sink.
I understand it got nickel and all this old bullshit. But guess what? A little dirt build up your motherfucking immunity. That's why we, in the situation we in, America is very pussy. We don't work out, myself included. You know, we roll over with aches and pains. Instead of working out, we go get pills. So we have to change our mindset. I mean, it's true. It's reality. You know, I cannot afford to not function because of the coronavirus. That's just what it is. I got to get up and go to work.
It's enough.
I'm praying.
They holding that shit in a warehouse somewhere. Flint, Michigan ain't had no clean water.
And you absolutely right. They couldn't get bottled water in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
In a motherfucking year, they ain't had no motherfucker. In the whole presidency of Donald Trump, they have not had no clean water.
Absolutely.
So I can, you know what I'm saying? Man, come on. And them people ain't dead.
I went for the next shipment. I've been sitting there for the last week and a half. I'm waiting for the next shipment.
You're a product of all up and down California. You done lived in Oakland. You done lived in San Diego. You done lived in Carson, in Los Angeles, and all throughout Compton. You've been around. Are you scared to drink water out the hydrant?
Hell, I drink water. I drink tap water in every one of the cities you name, nigga. Every one of them. Some of them a little better than others, but I drink the tap water in every one of them.
All right. I'm just trying to make sure.
Put it this way.
I will say if I have a preference.
You know what's scared? These Starbucks niggas.
Yeah.
These Starbucks niggas is the one that's scared right now. Oh my goodness. We need some water. We need some water because Starbucks ain't said nothing about closing no doors.
Starbucks went in the back and put some water out the hydrant in that pot and made you some coffee.
Some of them store runs, motherfuckers had cases of motherfucking top ramen. Now you know that's high sodium. You gonna need some of that goddamn water after your eyeball bust out your fucking head, all that fucking noodles. Motherfucker.
You home, man. Stop eating like you in the jail making spreads and shit.
I don't know what y'all.
Your gas line might be on.
I'm so broke. I've been eating my earthquake rations for the last week, so I ain't worried about nobody not having that Costco.
Hey, speaking of earthquake rations, I'm glad that you have yours because there's a lot of people out here that don't even have that, but they want to buy toilet paper. See, priorities is fucked up. At least you taking the MRI, you know what I'm saying, the motherfucking military, and you winging it.
I got my shit. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, going back to the president in his speech yesterday, he and a lot of people gonna be on my head because, you know, some of the moves he make I think are cool from a business standpoint, from incorporating and getting away from the red tape of the government. And this is him thinking as a businessman and not necessarily as a politician all the time. A politician.
He's not a politician.
He's not a politician.
He's a businessman.
A lot of politicians, regardless of Democrat or Republic or whatever you want to call it, they want to sit back. They'll sit back and they'll play with the motherfucking CDC and go back and forth and play with this department back and forth. Yesterday he had a meeting. He called private industry to the table. Roush, Chemical, and another company.
Monsanto.
I don't know. I don't think it was that one. It was Roush and another one. But he called private industry and said, "Listen, we need to make sure 500,000 test kits are ready by XYZ day, and I need who can make it do, because CDC telling me it can't be done, and they got me looking stupid over here. So I'm gonna come to y'all, and don't worry about the money. I'm finna approve $50 billion. Don't trip." Now, I believe he's getting his cut on the back end because he's a businessman and he's going to the business.
I'll say one company.
Right, he's circumventing government red tape to make sure that this is available. This is an election year. Hold on, this is an election year, right? We are in a state of emergency with this panic and all this bullshit that we had already talked about, right? And here he comes, toupee man, Cheeto face, but he saved the day because he made 500,000 test kits available within 30 days and throughout the period of isolation, because I do understand why they would want people to stay home for at least 2 weeks. So we can isolate the spread of this shit if y'all just stay at home. I get it. Everybody can't do that. But once again, getting back to Trump, everything that's happening right now is playing into his favor. And then you got goofy ass Biden over there. I'm very disappointed in the Democratic Party. The best you can come up with is Biden.
I got a question for you. I like to ask black people this, and this is any black person listening, any minority listening. Why are you a Democrat? What reason are you a Democrat?
Me personally, I don't have no allegiance to being a Democrat. So
Okay.
I get where you're going with
Right.
that. I'm gonna ride with who got a plan for me, who's gonna think about the needs and the things that I bring to the table. I think it's very important that black people identify what our agenda is. We got to go through so much shit, and some of us got degrees and some of us is making it, and the black elite and these broke niggas over here and everything in between. Somebody got to be able to smooth something and come to some sort of agreement and say, listen, this is who we are as black African Americans in the United States, and these are our needs, and this is what we need to help us straighten our shit out.
Right. And that's very agreeable. But I'm gonna go back to the thing you were saying earlier. Trump is making moves to help you, but I asked this question. Of those private industry companies that he brought to the table, how many CEOs did he already know? How many of those CEOs had he already played golf with?
Probably all of them.
When he came down to Mar-a-Lago. Because I say that because in his last few pardons, not counting the ones where Kim Kardashian jumped in and helped him, all he is releasing is C-level executives that were in jail, that he felt were in jail for too long. This is a man in jail for life for a $9 pizza, but he's not in jail too long. But his partner was in jail.
We're not talking about that, Dubb. We're not talking about that.
What I'm talking about is to go back to Trump is a businessman. Every move he makes is about business. He is not your typical president.
Exactly.
He's not your typical politician. So he does things that the average person, American, look at and say, okay, that's a good move.
He makes
That's a good
action.
move.
That's an action.
So do you-
That's a good move. And why? Because previous presidents followed the fucking suit of whatever the previous people pushed.
And that's all I'm saying.
He's not a follower.
And that's all I'm
per
saying.
se. And so he does do things differently. But in my mind, those things that he does differently, he's not doing them to benefit you and I. I think he's doing them just because he's a businessman, and that's what a businessman would do. It's not looking at me or you and trying to help us do anything.
I'm not
I think
saying
at the end of the day, he's trying to line his pockets.
I'm not saying I praise the man. I'm saying I respect the moves that he's making.
Yeah, it's not about praise. I'm just saying. So, in essence, right now, this presidency is bullshit all the way around the table. Because what Americans don't understand, it's not the presidential vote that matters. It is those small votes throughout every other 2 years where you vote for somebody, you get a ballot, and they got two names on the ballot for two different positions. You don't know neither one of them, but they the only person in that position, so you vote for them. And then they turn around and beat. Those are the people who are the electoral college, who are the ones who are actually voting for the president. Because Donald Trump lost the popular vote, but he is your president. So when they come out and tell you your vote counts at the right fucking time, not at that time. Pay attention to when you're voting, because when you go to vote and you got a ballot and it's got a name on it and there's no other person against that person, you automatically check that circle, and it is just habit because you want to fill in the blank. You don't know what that person is worth, what their values are, what they're going to do for your community, what they're going to do for your people, what they're going to do for your neighborhood, none of that. But then what happens is you want to go out and be told to vote by somebody who looks like you, and it doesn't matter at the time that you're voting, because when you were supposed to vote in those 2 years, you weren't paid. No one told you to go out and vote.
But do y'all think that this coronavirus is a ploy of a business plan?
It's different. It's way right.
To a degree, you know what I mean?
The version that's out now is a manufactured version.
They gonna get on me about this.
Manufactured version. That's interesting.
It's going. You know, that's why they can't find no animal to match it 100% to or 98%.
Right, because a lot of these diseases they do test on animals.
Dubb, educated man, Jamel, educated man. You understand that when they go through the process of trying to find a vaccine for a various disease or virus, they take little pieces off and they add little pieces. So each time they make variations to that virus, you create a brand new virus.
Say it again.
Right? So these viruses are documented. If it's done properly, it's documented, and they're kept in a freezer somewhere at these chemical companies and these research facilities, right? So it's not far-fetched
That it's not.
it's not far-fetched that something like that could have got out, been released in Wuhan in the wet mart. Okay, how fast could something like that spread in a wet mart? Right. I'm just saying, bro.
When was the last time you seen?
They share water supplies in little ass countries like that.
And the waterways do get contaminated.
So one vial that might touch 1,000 people could turn into 6,000 people, which could turn into
60,000.
and then 160,000. Right. And I'm just saying,
it's true.
It's not far-fetched to think like that. It might be a little dangerous to speak like that, but I ain't got shit for a motherfucker to take, so I ain't worried about that.
Overpopulation. How you take over overpopulation? And you know what? If you guys listening, you might get mad at me on this one too. When's the last time you seen them kids in Hong Kong protesting?
Italy, shut that shit down.
What?
They was going crazy. Prior to Chinese New Year, they was tearing shit up.
Chinese New Year came, coronavirus came.
No, this how
that's real shit.
This how I looked at it. Impeachment came, coronavirus came.
That's a coalition too.
Impeachment. We done already forgot about. We got a sitting president that was impeached but not removed.
Listen, I'm telling you something better. What's the
when does that ever happen?
What's the dude that just got 23 years?
2020.
Oh, Weinstein.
Now you know how I heard about that? Social media. I still ain't seen it on regular news.
I seen it. I watch news every morning.
I watch news every day. I ain't seen it yet.
They was charging him.
Bill Cosby. I couldn't stop every time I turn on Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby. He's gonna Bill Cosby walking in. I know we're talking about the coronavirus, but it's when you put something in the atmosphere to distract the masses, you no longer have the focus on some of the other things that are going on.
Exactly.
This pedophile ring that's been going on.
Exactly.
And Hollywood supposed to be killing itself. It's just, this is crazy. But you know what? That's real life. That's real factor. That's what's touching the community right now. I know everybody in here can say they know somebody who felt they were a victim of some type of sexual harassment, sexual touching or something like that. But that's being unheard of right now because of the coronavirus. So if we fearmonger you, we got you thinking more about the wire than anything else. You thinking more about toilet paper right now than anything else. That's the most important thing on your mind.
Why you using all that goddamn toilet paper?
Water and toilet. What the hell was you doing before? Huh? How was you washing your ass before?
Why are you using all that goddamn... What are y'all using toilet paper for?
Yeah, they buying it up like it's not gonna never come back.
I'm just saying, what is the run on the toilet paper for?
I was in the market yesterday, not looking for toilet paper. It's a little bitty small Mexican market next to the motorcycle club. I went in there to get a blunt, and the lady was asking the man about toilet paper, and he pulls it from behind the counter. And I laughed. I said, "Y'all got toilet paper back there now?" He said, "Yeah, man. It's expensive." I'm just saying, supply and demand, bro. Supply and demand.
But
you know what I'm saying? They got y'all going out buying Purell like it's nothing. Did I also tell you that Purell ain't the business for you to be washing your hands with? If the coronavirus, because all you're doing is suppressing the virus under the gel and the antibacterial.
It's got an alcohol smell.
You need to wash your hands
with friction.
Water. You need
with
soap.
friction. More important.
Using something that you're leaving on your hands.
Listen, Dubb. More important than the soap when you wash your hands is the friction that you use, because that's what gets the dirt off. That's what gets the grime off. That's what gets the any traces of the disease or the virus itself. It's friction. So even if you don't have soap, don't not wash your hands. Use the warm water. If you can get warm water, cold water is fine too. But friction. Rub those hands. Rub the back of them. Rub the nails. Try to clean the nails as best as you can. That's what saves you. That's what's going to keep you going, is trying to keep those hands clean as best as you can. And no bullshit washing when you just putting soap on the top and rinse it off. Rub, motherfucker.
Listen. So the symptoms on this coronavirus that you're going to come across is, if you're feeling ill and you got a runny nose, you more than likely do not have the coronavirus. You have some type of flu. The coronavirus will not give you a runny nose because it's a dry virus. So you won't have a runny nose. You will have symptoms of a sore throat. Now, if you get symptoms of a sore throat, just like you washing your hands, you can just gargle with warm water and salt. You can do that on a regular basis just to help prevent it, or as a precaution. But if you start feeling symptoms, that's one of the ways you want to do it, because it's going to start in the throat. And that takes about 48 hours to kick in. And then it moves into your lungs about 7 or 8 days in. Yeah. And then it gets into your lungs. That's how you get that pneumonia type feel, because coronavirus, in a sense, is a pneumonia on the back end.
Pneumonia if it gets bad enough. And don't always. All cases don't turn into pneumonia.
The people who are most at risk are those who already have underlying autoimmune issues, those who have some type of illness, major illness, underlying illness, or some type of respiratory issue.
Smokers.
Those are people that are most affected. I won't say smokers per se, because that badass shit they love by killing anyway.
Well, yeah.
So the tar keep it from getting any further.
Keep puffing them blunts, keep getting that smoke.
The Chinese diplomat promotes conspiracy theory that U.S. military brought coronavirus to Wuhan.
And that's the same thing we just said.
I believe it.
Same thing we just said.
You know what I mean? And
I won't say it was the American government. It could have been anybody.
And China's courtesy of CNN.
And I like Dubb's idea, because they were protesting like a motherfucker last year, all up until December. They did not stop protesting until Chinese New Year. Before Chinese New Year was over, we had the Wuhan outbreak.
It was rock throwing, picking up.
Rock throwing, nigga. Because Hong Kong was trying to break off and do its own thing.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So no, we ain't trying to. Hong Kong is a major port. That's a major international port. Right. All the money comes through Hong Kong. That's a major city with trade, technology, information.
And then they got that company, Hui, the telecommunications.
Hawa, some shit like that.
Excuse me. Bring it to the federal government.
Right. You know what I'm saying? They try to get 5G before everybody.
Hey, so back to what he was saying about Hong Kong. To put in perspective for you who don't know, if you're local to Los Angeles area, there's an unincorporated area of Los Angeles. It's a strip that goes next to the 110, basically, all the way down through to the Port of Los Angeles. The Port of Los Angeles is a key money maker for the state of California and the city of Los Angeles.
Billions.
So once again, when I say that unincorporated area of Los Angeles, the city of Los Angeles, even though it ends at the 91, before the 91, between the 105 and the 91, the unincorporated area goes all the way down to the Port of Los Angeles, so that they can keep the revenue that goes through there. So all that revenue that is made and generated at the port goes to the city of Los Angeles. It doesn't go to your harbor cities. It doesn't go to your
Gardena,
your Gardenas,
your Comptons, your Watts,
all the areas that port. that unincorporated area runs through. So this is just to let you know why China does not want to give up Hong Kong, because that port of Hong Kong makes so much money for the country of China that if it split off by itself, China would lose a lot of money. and then they really be coming after America for that $1 trillion debt we got. So we're not gonna talk about how you can't go buy a fucking car without going in debt, and America's $1 trillion in debt, and they can still get a loan. So we're gonna leave that alone.
When you think about it like this, China is the world's manufacturer for everything right now.
Yeah.
Your Nikes, your clothes, everything.
Because they can do it the cheap.
Everything comes from China, right? So
cheap.
that's what kills me when motherfuckers be like, oh, they buy cheap shoes, and nigga, your
Nikes
expensive
is from the
shoes
same
came from the
warehouse.
same fucking factory. But that's another
They were
story.
just a defense.
So they manufacture everything, right? Because we have moved all our manufacturing over to China.
Right.
If they lose Hong Kong is the way that's their key to the world, so to speak. So if you have all these products and you're making these products, but you have no way to distribute these products, it means nothing. So if they lose Hong Kong and they lose that lifeline to the rest of the world, it's over.
Right.
It's over. There are already sanctions on China behind their political views and how they run their country and
They
whatnot.
control the
So
internet.
they
tell you how many kids you can have.
they bypass. They go.
You know,
They go
they
from
ruthless
China
over there. They
to
ruthless.
Africa, from Africa to the United
Yeah, they're
States. They
ruthless
go
over
from
there,
China
man.
to
Ruthless.
Brazil, from Brazil to the United States. They circumvent and they get those goods into the United States regardless.
Right. To touch back on something earlier, I forgot to mention it, but what Trump's doing today with the companies, what you talk about the 500,000 pieces, is the same thing that Bush did with Halliburton. Called his homeboy up, told his homeboy to come over there, get this contract. Don't worry about the money. And on the back end, you sell us a toilet, that costs you 9 cents. We'll buy it for $11,000. No problem. We're not going to audit you or anything like that because we needed this stuff right now. And so this is what's going on with Bush. With Trump. So at the end of the day, these rich motherfuckers don't give a shit about me where I live.
Is Trump a racist cornball? Yes. Is he an extremely smart businessman? I would also say
No,
yes.
no, I won't
Listen,
say yes to
listen.
that.
Back it up. Just look
On
at it.
what ground?
Look at it from this perspective, right? Trump owns buildings, right? He got into hotels, and now he also hold on. He has a hotel chain that he does, right? He also has major skyscraper buildings in Chicago, New York, and various major metropolises where big companies pay rent to him in these buildings.
No, let's back up.
Hold on.
No. He don't own those properties.
No, he raised money. He raised money. He raised money, other people's money, to build these buildings. But you believe
not all of them. Not all of them. Let me go backwards. So, a lot of properties with his name on them, the people are paying the rights to use his name because his name is synonymous with
But I
don't
did.
wanna say excellence, but
I look myself.
It's rich money.
Right,
But
I got you. I
he
got
does
you.
not own those properties.
Those are some of the hotel chains. He had to give those up in the course of becoming a U.S. president.
No, before the president stuff, that is the misconception about him. A lot of things with his name on it are not his properties.
I'm talking about the commercial business rental properties that he does.
He owns some.
Right.
Let's get it right. He
Right.
owns some. So let's say if there's 100 out there, he might own 30, but 70 of them ain't his. But it looks like they're all his.
The 30 that he get that rent from,
Yeah.
right? Are you familiar with One Wilshire?
Yeah.
Where all the ballers and stars and
That
stuff
was
staying?
that was owned by De La Hoya.
Right. Now, you know the type of prices that those people stay living in, right? He has those type of properties in New York and Chicago on the East Coast, but he also owns a chain of golf courses.
He doesn't own the golf courses. They have the rights to his name.
All right. So, regardless of whether it's his name or not, that's a hell of a business play. Because check this out: who plays on these golf courses
Rich motherfuckers.
that are gonna fill his building with rents? He out there hobnobbing and golfing. You play golf, you know how that works. You done pay 18 holes to somebody, you damn near know him after that. By the end, you done had a couple drinks, you done had a couple cigars.
I understand. What I'm saying is
That's
he has
power play, right?
He has going back to my comment about the presidency. There are things that he does that makes us feel like it's a great move, but in essence, it was just a businessman's move. And now back to it as far as a businessman compared to other businessmen, he is not that great of a businessman because he's been bailed out multiple times by his daddy. He was invested in by his daddy. He did not create an establishment. He continues to operate one and run it, but he did not create it. So when I say I don't think he's a great businessman to that percentage, I compare him to people who created something and made it bigger than what it is today. Those who started out in an area like we're in
I can
right
respect
now
that, but you can't.
and moved into one bullshit.
But coming from a broke standpoint, how can we shit on somebody that got a recipe that's working?
I'm not.
I got some.
If I came in here and gave you $30 million and don't care how you get it, if you was making it after that, am I the one who should take credit for it? No, you had the resources to do what you need to get done.
I got
Do
something.
you think your recipe work if I gave you $30 million?
Hell yeah.
I got something
Okay.
to add to the.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
I got
If
something
your
to add
recipe
to
don't
the
have
conversation.
You a bad motherfucker.
Pertaining to this coronavirus, and a federal judge just blocked the Trump administration on ruling on cutting food stamps for 700,000 people, right?
Right.
And the reason why the judge did that is because the SNAP program was put in place to increase hunger and kids not going hungry and stuff like that. So I just think that this is the wrong time for this shit to be going on. And they just ruled on this yesterday.
But you and I both know it's a couple of people out there taking advantage of the situation.
I totally agree.
And
I totally
you and I
agree.
both know there's people out there who would benefit from it.
But this
Yes, it
goes
is.
back to
Yes,
what
it
you were
is.
saying earlier
Yes, it
too,
is.
Dubb.
Yes, it is.
These are very important bits and pieces of information that people need to know that's going on in the midst of go get some fucking toilet paper. If you're not on your toes, you might miss the opportunity to get your food stamps because you didn't get back and support your politicians that can go against this guy. Right? So
Go ahead.
I don't know. Maybe I will get some flack. Maybe I won't. But I think before you get an opportunity to vote, you might need to go to a couple city council meetings or something so you can understand how the process works. So you can understand your role in the voting process. Because a lot of people will say fuck voting is some bullshit. We voting for people that ain't ours. But a lot of people don't go to their city council meetings. A lot of people don't understand what the state level government is on. I mean, we get a little bullshit government class in high school, but not enough for nobody really pay attention.
To know what,
right?
yeah.
And this is how you get crooks that come in because they know a lot of people are ignorant to the fact of how government works. I think we need to be more involved. In order for you to have a vote, you need to earn it. You got to take a test to get a driver's license, right? I'm just saying. So, you should be able to have to sit in for 4 city council meetings before you get an opportunity to vote on anything in your community. Because, like Dubb said, you just in the booth because you want to fill a bubble. You don't know this person, you don't know their policies, you don't know how it's going to affect you, but you're going to be crying about what's going on 6 months from now, or a year from now, when this person's policies are actually starting to affect you. Right. When in the city of Compton, we had to fight with the mayor and everybody else to get these fucking potholes, just tearing up people's cars and all this old bullshit. But that's because people filling in the bubbles and ain't paying attention.
Right.
That's a hell of an idea. And don't just fill in the bubble. Know who the bubble is.
Right,
Who is the bubble?
Right. And then it's funny that you said that, but back to what Keith was saying, that some of these people don't need to be on welfare, right? But under the existing ruling, single able-bodied, that's the key word, single able-bodied adults can only receive the SNAP benefits for 3 months out of a 36-month period if it was to pass under the Trump administration, and then they still have to receive some type of training and go to work.
Let me put it to you in a different perspective. And pretty much, this is one of the things I think a lot of people can relate to. Do you know somebody who has a decent job, that goes to work every day, that doesn't live above their means, but they are struggling to keep ends meet, and it's just because the standard cost of living I'm just going to say California. I can't speak for other states, but the state of California. Gas prices here in California, $1 plus more than most of the country. The cost to rent
It's three times.
The cost of rent is typically 60% of someone's income.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're spending 60% of your income just in your living, just in a place to stay. Let's not talk about the things you need, the essentials of life to live there, but just to have that. You know, these are the people that I think should have there should be different guidelines for them when it comes to programs like SNAP.
I think you are absolutely right.
You know, these people are doing what they're supposed to do. They're paying their taxes. They're going to work every day. They're not bumming on the. I want to say bumming. They're not looking to the government for a handout, but a little assistance can help them go a lot further than where they went. They put stimulus packages together that they gave to corporations that were paying bonuses to C-levels and didn't need to. You know, these people shouldn't get those bonuses, especially when you're getting things. The government is helping out, government assistance, stimulus packages. What about the day-to-day person? Each of these individuals that go to work, working 16 hours a day sometimes to go home and support their family that they can't spend no time with. These are the people that need that help.
Shit, I'm gonna chime in personally with myself. Shit, when I was growing,
you're spending $200 at the store.
When I was raising my oldest daughter, she was with me. I was raising her as a single dad. Daycare wasn't available for me because I had a job. I never asked for county assistance. I never asked for no child support. I had a job, right? So I had to pay that $100, $150, up to $150 sometime a week for daycare. Just like he was saying with the SNAP program and the guidelines. There should have been some program that helped me as a single parent. Damn the fact that I was a man with a job that could have helped take some of that burden off of me. I'm going through it right now again. I got another toddler, my son, 4 years old. You know, daycare, that shit is outrageous as far as the cost is concerned with daycare. You know what I'm saying? So, in addition to food, daycare, gas, transportation, clothes, you know, damn trying to get a pair of Jordans, the cost of living and the quality of living becomes lower when you got 60 to 70% of your income that's going on your roof. You only got enough to keep the gas on, the lights on, and barely keep some food in the refrigerator. So what quality of living is that when you just barely getting by?
You know what I'm saying? And then now you want to put on top of it the coronavirus, and you want to tell me I can't go to work.
None of these.
My kid can't go to the daycare, or my kid can't go to school. So now I'm stuck with trying to figure out how to take care of the child and be able to still pay these bills because my landlord is expecting her rent on the first of the month. The gas and electric company is expecting the money.
Come hella high water.
AT&T want their money to get on the internet.
Come hella high water.
Or something. If you got cable, you got to pay the cable bill.
Come hella high water.
Those things still are being required to get paid. So what are you going to do? I mean, this coronavirus and the shutdown, you basically going to put everybody back into the 1800s, where sooner or later, SDG&E ain't going to let you run your power for long.
The reality is a lot of us live 30 days at a time. We pay for 30 days of peace of mind with the little funky jobs that we have or the businesses. That's why we stress if you have a skill, if you have a service that you could provide, we suggest you build your own business. Working for your own self will benefit you 7 times more than it would when you're working for somebody else. It's not always feasible, it's not always possible, and everybody's not a boss. I do understand that, but if we had more people step up from our community, and I'm speaking on black people, whenever I say our, I mean black people. I'm not talking about people of color. And this, then the third is nothing about inclusion or exclusion, but I love who I am and I love where I come from, and that's what I represent. I'm unapologetically black, and that's just who I am. So when I say me or our or us, I'm referring to black people, not light-skinned black people or dark-skinned black people or black people. If you identify and resonate as an African American, a black person, whatever you want to put it don't matter.
I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. I'm those people. those people. That's who I am. You know what I'm saying?
Them.
Them.
Over there. Over there.
You know, here's something serious though. The shutdown, what the government's doing, affects this coronavirus. I'm thinking about that person who spent the last few years of their lives or months of their lives building their credit up, trying to become a model citizen in the world, trying to get above the 700 line, 800 line credit so that they can manage in this world the way America wants you to. And then the coronavirus comes along and tells them that they can't go to work. Now they have past dues. Now they're playing catch up. Now they're back in a circle or cycle that they were in before.
It just seems like it's just.
But I'm saying schools closed. Go ahead, Jamil. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying it just seems like, what are you talking about? It just seems like it's just putting everybody in a crisis. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? It's just a money ploy. Like you said, fuck up your credit. Now I got to be paying all this money, you know what I'm saying, with creditors. It's like, I don't know if they're trying to create jobs or create economies, STEM. I don't know. It's just, this shit just seem weird.
Well, look at the domino effect. Kids can't go to school. Schools are closed, right? So that means kids are at home. In some cases, the parent can't go to work and leave these kids. You know, if the kids are small, if you leave some of the older kids at home, they gonna get into shit,
Mischievous shit,
right? So now you got more problems. You know, you can even look at teen pregnancy. People that can't take the time off, they got to go to work and leave the teenage daughters and the teenage boys and horny as fuck at home for 3 weeks with nothing to do but fuck. So
into all the little
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I know I'm going into some other shit, but this is the benefit. I mean, this is the fallout of some of this stuff. If you do take off, now you got the kids at home, everybody at home. You got to have more food at the house.
Let's go backwards.
You got to have more food at the house, right?
If you do take off, some people can take off. You know what I'm saying? Do you have the time to take off?
Right.
Will your company allow you to
You only
take
get 3 sick days,
you know what I'm saying?
right?
Like, what there's a whole lot factored in here about this takeoff and this stay home. It's not just as simple as the kids, the school can say go home, but shit. Now the parents have to come up with a way to
Feed
make
them.
it work.
Proper, you know.
Because they're not gonna give you none of that tax money back that they giving to the school.
But the school
like
funding,
Jamel-
school
like
funding is
Jamel-
gonna be messed up too.
Like Jamel said
School
earlier.
funding gonna be messed up too.
Like
but listen to what I'm saying. They take taxes out of your check to pay for the schools, right? So if you still gotta go to work and they close the schools, they still taking your taxes.
well, the school can't get paid for a day that the kids are not in the
Where
seat.
the money go? Where the money go? Where the money go?
They take a hit.
Coronavirus sound like a motherfucker.
They take a hit. The school system take a hit just like everybody else. If the kids are not in the seats, they cannot get paid for that day.
I understand that.
Now,
But
there
we need
might
some
be
money.
some money. I don't know what it might be, anywhere from $60 to $100 a day per child, right? But maybe because the government and the United States government and the state and local government have called emergencies, there might be a portion of that money that the school system still gets. They might only get $20 for any student that showed decent attendance.
Yep.
If it was a student that had already been gone for a week, 2 weeks, I don't know if you can get that. But for any student that showed regular attendance, there will be a portion because they called an emergency from the president and the governor.
I'm not worried about what the school get. I'm worried about what the school don't get.
Yeah,
Where that money go?
yeah.
You
Where's
know
that?
what I'm
Where's
saying?
that funding?
Where that money go?
Yeah, it's going to buy the test kits. Nigga, you know where it's going. Shit. The bullshit test kits for the fake ass virus. This shit is smoke and mirrors.
Everything is going to his pocket and in his pocket.
Yeah, if you don't think nigga, I just laid it out to you. He got a golf course. He done did golf with these niggas. He done laid out the plan, right? They rent space from him in his buildings.
Yeah, it's a
Right?
domino effect.
Yeah, can you get it done? Yes. They lying. They gonna take that motherfucking money and run. He freed up $50 billion, bro. $50 billion and brought in private industry people he gonna get kickbacks from.
All day long.
He called a state of emergency. They can circumvent laws. They can circumvent rules. They can circumvent regulations.
You planning this death.
Right?
Some libation.
I'm just saying. Yeah. I agree. We can put it right here.
Sorry, go about what you say. I just haven't done it.
We can put it right here. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no here. Feed the earth. We right here. They said.
Little CO2 in this.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We got the burner. We can set it up in the window and just right in here. Don't worry about it. We in here in amongst the plants. Now, when it come bloom time with the red spectrum, I don't know how that's gonna turn out.
Flicker the camera a little bit, but
Yeah.
fuck it, we high anyway.
It's never been done before. It's a great idea. Anyway, hey, it's been an hour. We don't want to burn you out. This is the Keep That Same Energy podcast.
Yes,
We've had Dubb from the Club sit in with us and give some of his great input. Jamel has also been a major contributor to this episode. This is episode 2. It's March 14th, 2020. We are 2020 Clear Vision is our motto and mode this year. It's me, myself, James Taboo Jones. We're promoting different businesses this year, media development, Bagger Brand, Mad Drama. The Spotters will be in the place this year. Got an event coming up Wednesday at...
We're going to be at the Silver Star Clubhouse Wednesday night. It is their annual weekend. They will be having a meet and greet in the city of Watts.
Come on out. Check it out.
Wednesday night, the 18th. So come on down, get you some Mayate taco.
Nice.
Yeah, hi. And keep the bullshit at home.
That's right. So you heard it first with us.
So look out for future podcasts of My Two Cents, NFOM, and Internet Smoking.
Yes, sir.
At some point, once I get my motorcycle back up and running, we're going to get the Ground Pounder podcast up and running too, where we do remote podcasts in different cities that we ride out to. All right. That's again, Keep That Same Energy podcast. Thank you for sitting in with us. We love you, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay, that concludes our show today. I would like to thank everybody for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe button. You can check us out on YouTube at the Keep That Same Energy Compton Edition channel. Also on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, and everywhere that podcasts are available. Remember, keep that same energy.